downtown Lakeport, California. It's just any town, whatever. Small town. The city hall's half a block away. Anyway, so you got this homeless person, dog, and that dog does not look particularly dangerous, nor does it look particularly friendly. And in context, it's just a stupid dog, right? Well, in context, in context is the city park. In context is children. In context is a small fence and many children and many families, and a pit bull, arguably under the control of a individual who appears to not be much aware of her surroundings. And it is exactly 12 o'clock noon on Friday. I think it's October 5th, I guess, but wow. Yeah, so wouldn't that scare the average person? You're not sure if the dog's on a leash, you're not sure if the dog's safe, but you are sure that it's a pit bull, and you got people walking around, you got people with kids, and you got a business trying to get started up over here. Real cute little Mexican place, right? Little roof area with some umbrellas. You can sit up there, I guess. Have 3 or 4 tables. And then an empty lot and a gray building next to another adobe building, next to a gray building, next to an adobe building, next to a gray building, next to a off-white building, next to boring, very boring. This isn't the Oakland Hills, man. This isn't Berkeley, California, man. This is, I don't know, camo is usually in season at all times of the year up here, let's just say. They got a lot of white people mostly, and only mostly white people, and then not a lot of other, not diversity really. So let's go walking around and let's see what's up, because things are changing and people are kind of unhappy. So you have very beautiful bathrooms here. You have this old library. It's one of these old Carnegie libraries they built, like, I don't know, Andrew Carnegie or whatever the guy's name was. He was super rich, and I think that's how Chase Bank became a bank or something. Anyway, his money is, he was super rich, so he put libraries, and they all look like this, right? So he put libraries in towns all around the United States so people would have access to reading and they could get educated, because he found people needed to be educated. That was fucking true when he did this. Oh, there you go, Carnegie Library. So there's, just look it up on Wikipedia. Anyway, it's still here. I don't know what they use it for, but they built, I don't know, 1,000 of these things, and that was technology back then. That's the city hall. They're closed on Fridays. Anyway, brown, gray, off-white, gray, brown, off-white. I mean, this place is so boring, it makes me sick. It really is dull. I'm from Oakland, California, man. This is like crazy. The most white people I've ever seen in my whole life in 1 square mile, So it's not really got any kind of diversity. It's just mostly tourists come down to this area, but it's being taken over sort of by homeless. The homeless have a shelter that holds 35 max. They estimate there's 1,200 homeless. That includes people living in cars, people who are living in houses, but it's not their home. Not all white people, of course, are problematic. Some white people are just fantastic. Just saying. Not all white people are fantastic either. There's more white people per square mile here than I've tended to see anywhere else. But what's happened is, okay, they have these boat docks, so they do a lot of stuff about boats, right? These people are also unhoused individuals. They're unhoused. Unhoused. Shall we go by and talk to the unhoused? They're unhoused. They have to be out of their shelter by a certain time of day. And so they have to be out from 8 in the morning till, I think, 10 o'clock at night's the latest. So they all start going back as soon as they can. And then a bunch of them just live down here, and they built these wonderful, cool bathrooms, and they have this dock where people go in and out on their boats, and they check the boats for some kind of stuff that's not supposed to be on boats. And then people do whatever they do out there on the boats. And the homeless people sort of took over this area here. So this has just become like almost 24/7 basically. Yeah, it's basically almost 24/7. So, you know, some people have their dogs and they have them at the shelter. They can take 35 people at the shelter, and that's all. That's all they're able to take, right? So, you know, we walk down here all the time, and, you know, people got these $50,000 boats, and, you know, they're going in and out of the water and doing their boat thing. And they have music at that little atrium there, and they have like 5 plug-ins over there, so homeless people will recharge their stuff over there. And, you know, people trying to have lunch down here, whatever they're trying to do, and have businesses and stuff. And then these guys in their all their glory, because these folks here are the homeless people who have essentially taken over the entire area and made it so that the tourists. So these are the same people that were here yesterday, same people from before, same from a month before, same from 2 months before, and this is all their shit. They collect shit, they go to the thrift stores, they get more shit, they go back. If you solve homelessness, these are the people who are going to be living in those homes. Do you think that they can manage? Right? Do you really think that these people here, I'm looking around here at the homeless people who are not in the shelter, because the shelter says you can't be there from 8 in the morning till like 6 at night, and so the buses are so busy in the morning they can't take anybody else except homeless people from the shelter, and then they just dump them around the different parts of the lake. This is Lakeport. You got Clear Lake. You have that south part of the lake. The water up here is better. I used to live over there in Nice. Had a place right by the water, so our backyard literally went over the top of the water, so that was cool. And I wasn't really over here much because this was too big of a city for me. If you want to know what my orientation is, I lived with the back of my property over the water, the side of my property sometimes over the water, the front of my property with no neighbors, and the side of my property with only one neighbor, and that was just too many people. So I'm fucking not particularly happy about living over here in Lakeport. But I'm trying to do a business, and business requires people and transportation. So I have this office that's right by downtown, a couple blocks off the bus. So you got transportation, all that stuff. So then you can go down here to the park, and they're building a really beautiful park. We'll take a walk down there. Here's my thing. It's not just that they have unhoused people, because if you take this young lady here and you put her in a house, she looks to me like she's somewhat capable of organizing herself. She might be doing okay. This fellow over there, sitting on the edge of the stool, I've been told by reliable sources who do not consume alcohol or drugs that one of his problems is he loves to drink alcohol. Then you have the other lady who's sitting across from him. I believe it's a lady. I'm not entirely sure anymore. But the people are clearly not capable of managing their selves effectively. So their housedness or lack of housedness is not really the main problem. There's in fact other problems present that need to be addressed so that they can live happy and productive and fulfilling lives. This individual here, who has now dressed and undressed himself at least half a dozen times that I've seen, I believe has some sort of a disorder that involves his desire to be undressed in public, and this is his perfect cover for it. I don't understand. The last time I came by here an hour ago, he was undressing with his ass hanging out and over all the way for her to see, and, you know, changing into some other outfit. Now here he is changing into some other outfit. Like, maybe he's just a perv. Maybe he's just a complete perv, you know. Maybe the deal is he's just a complete, total, absolute perv, and he wants to just take his clothes off. I don't know. But I guess he's got a dog. And, you know, these people are down here. They're in the shelters during the day. If they have nothing to do during the day, they hang out. That's obvious. They bring their stuff. So when you say, well, the problem is they're unhoused. Okay, so you've just changed the language from homeless to unhoused. So now you've got the solution in the words housed. If they were housed, they'd no longer be unhoused. Therefore, they'd no longer be homeless. There's a difference between a house and a home, by the way. We won't get into that, but ask any realtor in Realtor Sales 101. You buy a home, you sell a house. You buy a home. Home, sweet home. You sell a house, a building, a place, a residence, an address. Different. These people are definitely unhoused, but when they're housed and the services that are apparently not being given to them because they're not doing too well at this moment in time, I think it would be arguably self-evident some of them are not functioning very well. And if their problem is simply housedness and homes, then I don't think they'd be acting sort of like the way some of them are acting. That's my point. Okay, so anyway, you go down over here and, same thing. And these folks have the same situation, but they don't want to be around the noise, and they don't want to be around the litter, or they don't want to be around the music or something like that. So they'll choose to go further away. And so you'll see them all up and down. Not all of them, but many of them. And, they're just waiting till 6 o'clock. Because at 6 o'clock, then they can take a bus. And whether they're homeless or have certain handicaps or issues, such as whatever they have, they have to have some form of, if you notice the common denominator here, common denominator is transportation. Okay, look here, you got Mr. Uber driver, maybe, I don't know, looks all like an Uber driver, dude, I don't know. Anyway, transportation. If you have vehicles, if you have cars, if they're good running, if they're properly insured, or if you can live in them. That van over there, the gold van, that's
that's why some of them are gonna have to.
So I see that all the time, that gold van. There's some kind of tournament, so then otherwise there's half a dozen vehicles parked down here that are people living in their vehicles, come and go. I don't know where they go. I don't know where they come from. And then if that's going on, then you can't do parking there where it's obvious that you're homeless, right? Because then the cops will come. So living in your car is an option for many people. That's what they have to do. That's what they've been forced to do. And this is a very convenient place for them to try and live. But what's happened is they've got this park going on here with the skate park and everything. And so they had homeless people living in these bushes. They had a big meeting at the town hall the other day. A lot of homeless people were coming down here, and I know it sounds hard to believe because you can't even see it now, but these bushes were like 5 feet high. So they were living in the bushes. They're parked in the bushes, and you can kind of see, sort of look at that little trail of rocks, a little circle of like a fire circle. See, like a little fire circle stuff. So there's a couple more of them down there. So anyway, they just chopped all this down totally. It's been here all summer, but they just chopped it down. Anyway, they had this community meeting like a week ago. Maybe it's a coincidence. So then they're gonna trim down all these things, and this is where homeless people have lived. A lot of them, I've seen them living all up in here, right? So, and way down there for sure, bunches of them. I'm not walking down there. Anyway, they're afraid the water feature, which gets people wet and sprays water and then dumps a bucket or something. The homeless people are just gonna start taking showers down here. And so they actually do have showers right over there where that red truck is. They park a big vehicle that homeless people can come on Mondays and get showers. It gets very, very, very busy here. If I wanted to show just how bad the homeless situation was, I'd do this on Monday. It's Columbus Day. It's a holiday, so I have no idea how the buses are going to run or anything else. So who knows, or the showers or whatever. But this is a homeless central. This whole area that I just walked is homeless central in Lakeport. And my point is, it's very important that this area not become something that people say, I'm not going there, I don't want to be there. The homeless people are there, they fight, they use drugs, they're smoking, they're screaming and yelling and fighting and littering. And so we're not going to go there, because this is an attraction right off Main Street, and then the courthouse a couple blocks. You can actually see the top of the courthouse, right? So whatever. You got to maintain the integrity of some core component of the town. You can't let it go to shit. And so, unfortunately, some of those people have no capacity to really make good choices about just not even littering and destroying the environment, including the noise they make, including the way they behave, including taking their clothes off in public, including smoking weed that smells terrible to many people, including drinking alcohol and then getting under the influence and preaching and screaming and yelling and fighting. And then sometimes you'll see them burning out in their little cars. Their friends will come by. They're acting like 12-year-olds, some of them, some less than that. And they need help, obviously. But they shouldn't be allowed to destroy the environment for the rest of us, my opinion.